Welcome to the C4 podcast. This is Christians interviewing Christians at a Christian camp. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Caleb.
and this is Nate. Welcome, Nate.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going well.
Awesome.
Could you introduce yourself to everybody out here?
Yeah, I'm Nate Reinhold. I am Michiana Christian Camp's executive board president, and I've been a board member for about the past 11 years. I attend North Liberty Christian Church, so one of our supporting churches.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Glad you could be here and be a part of this.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. So, as we get to know you a little bit more, Nate, what are some things you like to do? Some hobbies of
Ooh,
sorts.
hobbies. I enjoy time with my family. So I enjoy fishing with them, specifically like pan fishing for panfish, that is. And I enjoy sports, so both watching and playing. Particularly, I like to be outside and play golf. It's one of my hobbies to do outside of serving within the church and serving up here at Michiana.
Yeah. So, with serving here at Michiana, you mentioned you're the board president currently, but you've been on the board for 11 years, which is well done, well done. Thank
Isn't
you,
that the longest
congratulations.
running right now?
Of active board members, yeah.
Yeah.
Longest consecutive
Yes.
amount of years, yes.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So you've been through you've seen a lot of different changes over the years.
I
Uh,
have. I have.
um, you also serve as faculty during the summer as well. What weeks do you faculty for?
Yeah, I for about that actually I think one more year extra to that I've done junior high too. So been a faculty member for that week for I think 12 years. As soon as I came back from grad school, moved back to the Michigan area. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I at North Liberty, I'm a youth sponsor and have been that entire time frame as well. So the youth that I've been able to help train up, so to speak, has been that middle school age range, and it's specifically our middle school boys. So I've been tapped, I would say, on the shoulder as a young adult, and now um, it's not. I can see where God's hand was definitely in that as building those relationships over the years. Can definitely see the fruit from it, and had many great relationships with um, those students that were once middle schoolers that are now our youth minister at North Liberty at this moment was one of my junior high two kids up here at camp. So Lucas Bowling.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, absolutely. It's
That's pretty,
interwoven.
that's
Mhm.
pretty cool then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. And some of the stories we see coming out of Michiana, we see
Hmm.
those relationships continuing beyond camp.
Yeah, absolutely. You haven't asked this question,
Not yet.
but I can lead into another relationship like string that has been woven from Michiana that I was thinking about as coming alongside you guys here this evening and kind of in that same vein is one of the one of my core like relationships that was built from Michiana as a student when I was in middle school.
Mhm.
I was a middle school camper here, and I always really identified with our faculty or our junior faculty. And there's one that I remember vividly, and you'll find out why here in just a moment. Um, is they were in college at Bethel at this time, and I'm in middle school, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever to have and hang out with the college age Christian, right? And learn from them and just hang out for the week, and have that short 1 week relationship that was okay, cool. Like really enjoyed our time, not knowing if you're ever going to see them again. I say that because then about 6, 7 ish years later, um, we needed a youth minister at North Liberty,
Mhm.
and one Mr. Jody Healy was hired on as our youth minister. I was since like in college and out of that age range, and then went away for grad school for 2 years. Well, it just so happens that Jody and I are extremely close friends to this day. Now, I think he's 18 years in the ministry, maybe 19. Don't, don't track exactly those dates to where I've been able to serve alongside him for the basically that duration of time and build a strong Christian man of faith and leadership respect that was founded, seeds
Mhm.
planted here at Michiana. So I don't know that I've ever have told either Caleb or Brandon that in the past. So I just want to let you guys know that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you haven't. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. Connection, Jody with you and Lucas.
Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah,
And now to be all kind of co-laborers in that same spot.
and now it all makes sense.
and it was all like that's all like a middle school like
Mhm.
time frame too.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, Nate, why do you have passion for the middle school youth? Right, it's all woven right there for through my life that you can then I've been able to see the fruit from. So yeah, like yes, our middle school boys dirty and smelly and um somewhat annoying at times. Absolutely they are. And
But in the
but
best way.
in the best way ever. Yes. But they are also some of the most they are the most fun and I can connect with them so well and been gifted in that way. So it's great.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Because you mentioned being like a camper here.
Yep.
When did that journey start for you here?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a first chance camper. And yeah, we still had the tether ball
Yep.
outside, and no, there wasn't an extension onto the dining hall at that point in time. Canteen was just outside of the office area here. I don't even think the office was not built when I would have
Hmm.
been a first chance camper.
Yeah.
And then I went all the way through middle school. Um, and then this is where the a little bit of the craziness of the story come of my story in relation to Michiana Christian Camp is after middle school, I did not come to high school because I had conflicting other commitments.
Sure.
During the summer, that was always that same week of high school week, and it was only 1 week at that point in time. So I did not go, and then I did not come back like as faculty or anything like that until I started helping out with our junior high youth.
Mm.
Within a very short duration of moving back home, and I believe I only served one summer. It was found out that, or brought to my attention from one of the other board members that there was a necessity or a need for somebody with a particular set of skills. No, not uh, Liam Neeson yes,
I mean,
style, but um, somebody that was good with numbers and good with finances. Well, I just so happen to have a accounting undergrad and a master's in business to where I could step in and help out in a way on the executive board as the board treasurer and help alleviate um, my great friend and mentor um, Robert Hennon, as he was able to take a season away from the board after I want to say it was somewhere in between 30 and 35 years straight that he had been the treasurer. So that's thank you, Chris Fleck, for tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "Hey, you have this. How about you come up and check out a meeting?" I will mention while I was here at camp and through my younger age of youth, I prayed a lot to God for opportunities of leadership and um, just as an encouragement to everyone that does watch this, it is a passion of mine that again, if you pray for something. God said, you'll receive it. Um, I have been given leadership responsibilities, um, all in work, in outside of work, within church up here at Michiana. I firmly believe that's because I was rooted in that prayer from a young age. And I've been blessed by it. It hasn't always been great and easy,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's very important for all of us to understand that our prayers are meaningful, and it might not be that you are praying for a health scenario or something like that, and that God provides. It can be monetary things, especially in difficult times and stuff like that. But God has tenfold said, "Hey, you prayed for this," and said, "Even when I haven't been willing, go."
Mm-hmm.
And that started, and the importance of this is it started at a young age. And yes, I went to church with my family growing up and have those roots there. But a lot of that foundation started around Michiana here at the camp. And hey, God, if I don't have, if you're not going to bless me in this area, bless me here. And it's been an awesome journey
Mm.
to this point. And again, not without bumps in the road, but it's definitely a learning experience. And I continue to thank and praise God for um, the opportunity to serve Him. And uh, I guess that's the number one thing of my term as being on the executive board is I try not to look back and think of how many by number, but if you ever do, the impact of what Michiana has amongst the not just the community of Michiana, the actual physical area around here, but beyond is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I hope that the goal is obviously for it to continue forward for many, many more years. And I was part of the 50th year celebration, serving on the board, and we said also setting this up for another 50 years. So we are diligent in planning out the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, absolutely. So there are a couple different things that you mentioned there that I would love to be able to reflect back on as
sure.
well. One of the big things you talked about was leadership and how you pray for leadership, and then God has blessed you in those lot of leadership capabilities. You also mentioned in that conversation as well that sometimes leadership is hard and difficult. That there
Mhm.
are difficult
Mm-hmm.
things that have to happen with that too. Have there also been blessings as well alongside some of those difficult times?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I can mention a few things. One that comes to mind is just this last summer, as journeying through the summer without having a full staff. Right, we um, that wasn't necessarily a burden, as much of a burden on me as it was the entire staff and the summer staff.
Yeah.
But we get to the very last week in junior high two, um, seeing the blessing of those that were willing to make a decision
Mhm.
and follow Christ for the first time
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
was the most that I've ever seen in a week that I've served at,
Yeah.
Sure.
and seeing that impact in seeing God move,
Yeah.
even when maybe we, like personally, I thought that it was not as great around circumstances were not perfect.
Sure.
I guess
Yeah.
that's a better way to think about it. Other ways that God has blessed monetarily, God has since I've been on the board. One of the things that I hope is a legacy that continues on is that we are in a position of where um, we're able to support 4 full-time staff and have them live here on site. When I came on the board, it was a little disjointed as to whether or not we could.
Sure.
So God has provided, and our donor base has expanded to where not that we have a huge nest egg, but we have some.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when, um, again, when I started in a treasurer's role, there wasn't that.
Mhm.
So seeing God move in ways that maybe not everybody can see from a number count of students coming in the door, new programs, new dorms being built. The guys that I'm going to call them the guys cabin,
Yeah.
cabins 4 and 5, um, being remodeled and built. I was here for um, a lot of the renovation around here in this office in the staff lodge has been was done. All the beautiful work around here, pergola and fire ring and all that we're able to enjoy. Our dock our, has been done while I've been serving on the board. Actually, all of Vespers was done.
Yeah.
The new remodel, which I still go back to the old school version. And I remember Jim and Margaret out there doing their shows when I was a kid out in the Vespers areas. It's one of my favorite areas. Actually, it is my favorite area at camp. Um, it, just from the longevity of it and even what it's now morphed into versus what it was when I was a camper. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question.
We got there, yeah.
Good.
With a kind of follow-up question as well, because you mentioned about being on the board, you mentioned some of your roles as potentially as treasurer, kind of the idea that was one of your main things coming in. Well, for the people listening at home who have not had the board member experience,
Mm-hmm.
what
Yep.
what does being a board member look like?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, what does that look like? Caleb, do you know what it looks like? He probably doesn't.
No, this is the part, like, we are interviewing you, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the whole point of the video. This segment is, I listen. Like, it's like you tell and I listen.
But
He'll be asking some questions in a minute.
this portion of the show is okay. No, I so a board member. It not to make it sound very formal and have a formality. What do we do? I think is a
the
good
generic idea.
is a good way to
Yeah.
to ask it, as you said. So we are in charge of the ongoings of the camp, not the operational day to day stuff, but we are here to help guide the ship, so to speak. So helping with our director in the vision of the camp, in any new uh, building or major expense items that I would call capital expenditures. We help in that. And then at the same time, we are also in charge of knowing um, really the programming of what's going on during the summer and seeing what transpires in terms of like, okay, we have deans and are we actually going to be able to have a function of the camp for the summer? And it's really from a treasurer side, you're developing a budget throughout the entire year that has to be passed in, approved on by a separate segment, separate within our organization, which is called the Board of Representatives, which is I'm sure some that have watched the videos, and some that it's a two party or two people from a supporting church are able to vote, and they vote upon all of our executive board members to function as what I just said. We that executive board meets on a monthly basis throughout the year. And again, we are there, we're checking the financials, we're making sure that we have money. We're talking about you know, pay increases, stuff like that. How are we going to make it through the year? Is our plan? What things around the camp, since it is 50 years old. Not all of our structures are 50 years old. Most are not. That's good. From the perspective, some are older than that as well. The White House, everyone. Um, so with that, there's a responsibility to be good stewards. It would be a functionality in my mind, as well as looking at the spiritual fervor of not just our staff, but then how are we, how is that getting communicated out to the students for the summer camp, which is our one of our primary and our primary role as a camp.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, being able to help cast that vision, but also be able to be that kind of support to the staff as well through
Yes,
the process.
absolutely.
Uh, Namely the director, but also the other members of staff as well to be able to really help them be able to succeed at the spots that they're at.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's where that's the exact like fine line of not saying we're operational. No,
yeah,
we're more, most of our communication has been in my tenure a lot with the director.
hmm
And but
it's not
there,
limited
there,
to. Yeah,
but it is not limited to. And since we have four full-time staff, they have access to us and even come and participate in our meetings.
So so you just talked about the kind of what the board is and what the board does.
Yeah.
For someone who still, even though I just got a little bit of a rundown, I don't know a lot about the board.
Yeah.
Um, is there a difference in the board's job during the summer season compared to the off season? Like you, for example, you're faculty for junior
Yeah.
high too. Hopefully, during that week, you're faculty and nothing arises, right? But let's say you're not faculty for a week.
Mhm.
Do you have a special role during the summer that is different than off season? Like, what does that look like?
Sure, that's a great question, Caleb. From the perspective of like, is are we set up to where we have a very definitive role and tasks that we have to do? Not, not necessarily. We need to get tasks done, but it's within a bounds of uh, a little bit of timeline, but not like we have to do this every week. And
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, if you're on the executive board, you need to commit to at least 2 hours a week, every week for the entire year for you to be able to be a part of the board. I want to make sure that that's clear. Now, are there times when outside of a just a meeting where you're making
Mm-hmm.
decisions that you need to plug in? Absolutely. So a lot of that happens throughout the year. We try not to, speaking to your specific question around the summer,
Mm-hmm.
we try not to be a disruption to the summer camp season. But is there an additional responsibility that the board has during the summer? Yes. That is not just the expectation or like you had mentioned, like serving during a week camp.
Mm-hmm.
You probably are because if you love the camp, you're probably
Well,
also
I was gonna say
serving
most
all most not all, but
most everybody on the board has
yeah.
either faculty this
yeah, I
summer,
was gonna
dean
say,
this
yeah.
summer, or brought their student or their own kids to camp.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say but another thing that we've done here in recent years, and I believe that this is something that your dad brought, so Eric Christian, that is, was one of the things that we have implemented and make sure that we're doing is we have an additional, what, around 16 to 17 additional hands here during the summer outside of just our four full-time staff
Mm-hmm.
um, is to commit to praying for and building a relationship with one to two of those individuals that are here serving for the summer and teaming up with them as kind of a Christian buddy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something that as an additional role that we do during the summer in terms of our rhythm. And then typically, unless there is a necessary need to have a meeting, we typically do not, we try not to meet over the summer. Now, circumstances can
Sure.
change to
Yeah.
where there has been summers where we've met every single
Yeah.
month during the summer as well. But the regular cadence is to try to take off like June, July, pick up again in August.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the summer season is so busy.
Yeah.
I can imagine that it'd be hard to even do meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, during our summer season, I mean, people are in and out of that office all the time.
Mhm.
Now I don't know where you normally have your meetings, but if it is down there, you
Mhm.
can't really do that when
Yes.
you got a people coming in and out what for whatever they might need. So yeah,
yes, it's very hard when we are to balance between those
yeah.
commitments, and that is one of the things as a executive board member serving for a week of camp and um, having the responsibility of also a board member
Mhm.
is making sure that we're serving well in the role that
Mhm.
we are here for. And if we're not serving in that capacity, making sure that somebody is covering for us in those areas, so that we're not disrupting um, our programming, because our main responsibility during that week is to make sure that we are showing Christ to these students. And as I mentioned early on, we are foundational in planting those seeds.
Cool. So you have the opportunity to pour into kids during the summer season, and then in the off season, kind of helping like run this place and make sure that it goes smoothly along with all the other full time staff. Um, yeah, that's cool. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome, Caleb.
You talked about so you're faculty for junior high too.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite like do you have a favorite moment or memory that you can remember
Mm.
from previous years or this year?
For this year, I can say my favorite, or one of my lasting moments from
Mm-hmm.
camp, which just being asked to be on this made me reflect a little bit, which is not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing, to remember some of those whys.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, yes, it was exciting to have like 33 decisions made this summer.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
me personally,
Mhm.
um, my little sister was baptized here.
Yeah.
My best friend was baptized here from elementary school and middle school. Um, I have probably my favorite moment is being able to have seen my niece be a camper during a week that I was serving at. Um, don't have kids of my own and a wife, so my nieces and one nephew, he'll be one of those campers one of these days. He's only 2, not quite 2.
Still time. Still time.
Still time. Um, that has been uh, my greatest joy is seeing decisions made for Christ, and when it's been so close of a relationship to me,
Mm-hmm.
family, very close friends making that decision and having it happen here makes this place special to me as a result. Not to become a huge sap and a crier or anything like that, but that I am that, and it's completely fine to be that. I want to put that out there. Is I I love that Michiana is an extension of our churches, to where Christ is made known here, and those relationships have been built, and um, I that's the most exciting thing to me, Caleb. I love to have fun. I love to. I, Caleb knows I love to tease. I love to have a great time, and I'm competitive. Um, I like to be witty, but when it comes down to it,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's that.
Yeah.
It's really seeing the relationships that have been forged through the years and how they've developed in Christ. And I even look at, even as of a couple of years ago, my grandfather was still coming up here and voting
Mm-hmm.
as one of the board of reps, from one of our supporting churches, and he was 89 years old.
Mhm.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
Um, that part of my story,
Yeah.
it's woven. Michiana Christian Camp is woven deep into my Christian walk. Not just my Christian walk, but my entire life. So
Yeah,
that's why I serve on the executive board and why I continue to serve in that capacity.
awesome. Yeah, camp is fun, right? And we all have fun with the activities that we do, but it is a different like those fun memories they're great memories, but they are different from the serious memories, like you said um with your niece
Yeah.
being a camper and your sister getting baptized. I mean that kind of like that will always be the number one. Will always be the main memory that you always remember, and
Yeah.
you kind of answered why Michiana, and
Because that's something we like to do at the end of or near the end of every
yeah,
podcast is
Yeah.
to ask the why Michiana,
Yeah.
and you're already hitting that for us.
yeah.
You're like, hey, we're already there. We're there.
Yeah, so I can circle back to it a little bit. One of those fun moments when I was a camper, again in junior high, we went to the East race. And I'm gonna say it's a fun memory because it's a fun memory now.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So is we go to the East race. We're on a bus. We're on a school bus, Caleb, and we're driving, and we get there. Of course, I had flown out of the raft that we were in, swimming in the St. Joe River. Don't recommend it. Um, they had to throw the rope out to you. They pull you back in. Okay, we're safe. Everybody's heading back home. Um, I had mentioned earlier I'm a huge Purdue fan. One of our faculty at that time, also one of Jody Healy's good friends, Aaron McDonald. I know him well as a friend now, for similar reasons. He and I had his Purdue hat, brand new Purdue hat. I had it on. He's about 2 or 3 seats behind me. Um, I will mention that his mom was also on the faculty, and she's like in between us, and I'm a goofy kid. I'm in middle school again.
you know where this is going.
I can already envision.
I have a hold of this hat,
Mm-hmm.
and I go to release it back to Aaron. Where does the hat go, Caleb? When I throw said hat in the middle of the summer with a bus that has open windows.
I'm assuming out of the bus.
Yes, Caleb, I threw the hat out the bus. I immediately go into full panic mode. Aaron's mom yells at me for throwing it out the bus, and I'm mentioning this because both Aaron and his mom and I have had like in my adult life, we've
Yeah.
now been able to talk about it and laugh, and the joy of I hadn't seen Aaron in probably 15 to 20 years,
Mhm.
about 10 years ago, and able to meet with him and hang out with him and tell and share that story. I had seen his mom about 5 years before that, and she remembered, and I'm like, "You remember what happened?"
You paid for that hat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the whole point of that, bringing this up, is this: there's silly relationships that are also
Mm-hmm.
built that we still have the foundation of Christ,
Yeah.
and that's that's the thing that Michiana Christian
Mm-hmm.
Camp has,
Yeah.
that I know that God has also blessed me with the ability to do, is build and and have relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I know that is fostered here at Michiana Christian Camp very as well as, again, our foundation being in Christ
Mm-hmm.
and having lives changed. And them, seeing students make that commitment and that decision. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yes, I'm old enough, Caleb, to then see the fruit of some of that, meaning I'm now seeing them as young adults with a family and kids, and now they're bringing their kids into, um, programming that's at North Liberty. Could be at, I've seen them at Deer Run, at
Mm-hmm.
any church, to where now you can see a little bit fuller as to, okay, the seeds that were once planted are now starting to grow and bear good fruit, and um, that's the very exciting.
Mm.
And I like to look at it as somebody that has served on the board this long, that doesn't have children of their own. Is I have a few thousand of them that we've been able to impact over the years,
Yeah.
and don't often reflect on that. But I think it's of value to anybody
Yeah.
that does serve in this capacity, is looking at that as there's true impact on the body of Christ.
And be able to see that impact come through.
Yeah.
100%.
Real
Yeah.
relationships, lasting impacts.
But it's like,
That's our motto, or that's the camp's like motto for a reason. And it we've said this in every interview. It's been the same thing. Every interview is like that is just that's that's what makes Michiana so great is I mean, you talked about how, I mean, Jody poured into you and you poured into Lucas, and now Lucas is pouring into other students, and then those students are going to pour into other people too, and it's
Mhm.
really is just like it's tree bearing good fruit, like you said, and so that's just Michiana, you
It
know.
is.
so in 10 years, when you're still doing it, because your nephew's
Yes,
coming in, you'll be able to see some of that fruit of the students that
Yeah,
you're pouring into now, being able to pour into
yeah,
them too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's what keeps me going and wanting to continue to serve, not just as only an executive board member in that capacity, but also serving alongside with our youth, and
yeah.
yeah, even serving in Lucas's ministry now as well. So now the hat is a little bit different, but I'm still doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's with somebody that is not that was one of our campers, and not somebody that was my faculty that I looked up to, right? Like figuratively and literally both. Um, Jody has a wonderful picture of him and I as a camper, and I'm sporting a really sweet haircut with a upside down visor, turned around backwards, and it's a picture of Jody and I, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. I'm like a quarter of his size. I probably was a whole like 60 pounds soaking wet.
I mean, middle school, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for all the service that you continue to pour into this place and to the example you continue to set for these people.
I want to thank you guys as well. Thank you for putting this together, and just your commitment to Michiana, and spreading the light and making Christ known. So appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely.
Of course, just pouring into a place that poured into us. That's why we're doing it. So,
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thanks again.
absolutely. With that in mind, that's been the C4 podcast. Thank you so much for joining with us. Once again, I'm Brandon,
and I'm Caleb.
and this has been Nate with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.